and welcome back once again to Zalududil. Oh, this beautiful fortress. I'll tell you, YouTube. Now, quite some time has passed since we last spoke, and Zalududil has advanced quite a bit. But we'll get to those details in a moment because currently we are gearing up for this year's summer hunt. The summer hunt of 1048. That's right, YouTube. 3 years have passed since last episode. A good chunk of time. But again, we'll get to those details later. Now then, Dwarves of Zalududil. This year's summer hunt will be a special one indeed. Our beloved queen, Kivish Keeperplank, has been training very hard, and this year she takes her first steps into the arena. Can she and our warriors prevail against a horde of goblins? Well, dwarves, time will tell. Pull the levers! And once again, YouTube, we do have 2 levels of goblins here to fall down into Zalududil's arena. That's a lot, YouTube. Now then, it looks like all the goblins are free, so let's pull the final lever and let the summer hunt of 1048 begin. This year, YouTube, it's only the queen, her personal bodyguard, and the Pinebeards. I'm sure they can handle themselves, though. Not too concerned. And here they come. Dwarves are wading into the goblins. The queen seems to be doing pretty alright right now. Man, I hope she survives. Oh, she's getting a little overwhelmed now. Keep going, dwarves. It's taking them a bit, but they're doing it. Keep fighting, dwarves. Almost through them. What beautiful warriors we have here in Zalududil, folks. You have to agree. Oh, still 1 goblin left. Alright, we are good. Yet another successful summer hunt. Although I'm not sure if all the dwarves escaped unscathed. Particularly curious about that queen. Let's take a look. Kivish killed 7 goblins. Wow, good job. Not to say I didn't think she was going to do very well, but to do that well? I mean, 7 goblins, that's pretty good for her first combat ever. To her credit, she's been training very hard up in her own personal barracks, but we'll get to that in a minute. Well, I'll tell you what, Kivish, I think that this year you proved yourself as queen of the Foggy Books, and a proper monarch for us dwarves here in Zalududil. So this year, Kivish, you get yourself a nickname. So from now on, you shall be known as Kivish Blade Queen. Fairly suitable, I'd say. I did equip her with a battle axe instead of a spear, as is typical here in Zalududil, just because she seems to like the things. You know, I was pretty sure I saw at least 1 dwarf get wounded in that fighting, but I guess nobody did. I am amazed at how well these dwarves do in combat. It is remarkable, I gotta tell you, YouTube. Anyways, haha, yes, Zalududil. You can almost feel the muggy air filtering through the pines. It's currently the 9th of Malachite, midsummer, 1048. I imagine it's hotter than hell outside. Fairly uncomfortable, but the dwarves don't seem to mind that much. As I had said before, 3 years have passed since last episode. Yes, I've been playing this game like crazy, hoping that the goblins would come just again and again and again, and I could kill a bunch of them between episodes even, because we know how the sieges go down at this point. But, YouTube, the goblins haven't returned in 3 years. That's a bit distressing, really. If you remember at the beginning of last episode, I said they didn't come for 2 years, and then they came twice, kind of rapid fire, and then that was it for 3 years. They could be coiling up for another attack, or maybe we scared them off for good this time. Who knows, really. But seeing as how we've got a bunch of free time here, and no goblins to worry about, I've just kind of been tooling around in the fortress trying to improve things as much as I possibly can. And I guess you guys probably want to update as to what's been going on around here. Well, let's see. Back up here to the old Blade Queen. You can see she's currently in her personal barracks that I had made for her. Just up above her throne room here, accessible through a stairway in her statue garden. She's training here with Moses, her own personal bodyguard, both equipped with masterwork steel axes and armor. Moses is one of the dwarves that she arrived with, and I noticed the queen kind of just wandering around the fortress, not really much to do. I checked in her head and it said she was feeling self-pity for not being able to practice a martial art, and so, what the hell, I figured throw an axe on her, pair her up with this legendary axe dwarf here, and there you go. She's only been training for about a year now, and she's already an adept axe dwarf. Yep, she's not doing too bad for herself. And we actually have another addition to the queen's quarters over here. Down here on the bottom level of her quarters, over in her bedroom, we have a small passageway leading off to the south. Go up these stairs here, and this tunnel continues over to the storage silo, where there's another staircase leading up to the top of the storage silo, where we see Zalududil's new treasury, filled with Billon coins, large cut gems, and artifacts. I'd love to see those Kias get in here. I truly would. I figured we needed a nice place to store all this very important stuff, you know? And I gotta say, it looks pretty rad, doesn't it? Although it is almost completely filled with treasures, we may have to increase the size in the future, or possibly make another one, but we'll handle that in time. It is multiple Z levels tall, and the storage silo is now as tall as the Queen's quarters here, both of which are adorned with menacing, screaming dwarf statues. Kinda like gargoyles or something. All made of Billon, by the way. I guess you probably assumed at this point, right? Quick question here, YouTube. How the hell long does it take to domesticate wild animals? We've been up to our ears in wild boars for so long now, and we've yet to have any actual tame ones. We keep taming and retaming them, but nothing seems to work. Although if you look here, it says our civilization is now expert at training wild boars. Can't be that much longer, right? I had heard that if you managed to fully domesticate a wild animal, then you could take them with you when you embark in future fortresses, which I think would be pretty cool. Oh well, I guess I'll keep at it, huh? Anyways. Let's see, what else? Well, if you look in our prison tower here, YouTube, we are currently entirely out of goblins. Now, we hadn't done any summer hunts in the past 2 years that I've been playing. I was trying to conserve our prisoners just in case we hit another siege dry spell like we're currently in, mostly because I wanted to do another big summer hunt in the future like we just did, and also because I've been slowly feeding prisoners to our Cyclops, Inverno Fakaki Kithe Tavivi, currently walking around his disgustingly filthy pen, strewn with the evidence that he's been training and eating very well in these past few years. Whole bunch of goblins there now, YouTube, and although I can't see his skill levels, I've got a feeling they've improved quite a bit. Now when I drop goblins down, he kills them almost immediately. Not to say he still doesn't have rough times. Every once in a while he gets stabbed a few times in his legs or his hands, and then he'll start crawling around his pen for a month or so, but then he's right back up on his feet doing fine. And every once in a while he'll say something like,
"I've improved my so-and-so skill. That was so satisfying."
So that's how I know his skills are improving. That being said though, he has gotten quite beaten up, YouTube. Like big time, really bad. Take a look at this. Just scars all over the place. A sword's been ripped open his cheek at one point. Scars all over his legs, his hands, and his most gruesome injury so far, YouTube. A swordsman took off his eyelid. I don't even know how the hell that was managed. His eyelid, YouTube, the eyelid of a Cyclops. That's goddamn nasty, huh? Figure his eyes gotta be all dried out and stuff, sand and dirt up in there. He's probably gotta lick his fingers and rub his eyeball down every once in a while, just to keep it moist. Here it is, too. Verno Fakaki Kithe Tavivi's eyelid, just sitting on the ground. Or rather, it's his eyelid hair. just his eyelashes. He's got a little pile of eyelashes on the ground. Oh my god. I love this game, YouTube. So yeah, doing pretty well for himself. And at some point we're gonna have to get that pen cleaned up because that's just goddamn filthy. But we'll save that for later. Alright, let's see what else. Speaking of which, Abul Akir Bamrek Metol Kamut the Eye has bestowed the name Lelum Gastkasham upon a steel spear. These military dwarves have been going crazy naming their spears and shields lately. Like every 5 minutes the game pauses. All kinds of crazy names too, some of which are super cool, such as Sarvesh Notal, the Furnace of Ghosts, a steel spear, Tishak, the East Typhoon, yet another steel spear, and my favorite so far, Idam, Rock Crush, a steel shield. Very cool, huh? And of course for every cool name we have at least a dozen lame ones. Shadishlum, the Ponderous Nut, a shield, Tashemlek, Pull Bristle, or my favorite lame one so far, Settler, the Angelic Fats. Oh, you creative dwarves. Speaking of named items, we also have a few new artifacts here, YouTube, like this one here, a Bayberry wood armor stand, Kez Oram, the Negator of Worlds, which sounds so much cooler than it is. I'll tell you what, this was made by a very lazy dwarf. A wooden armor stand, encrusted with round brilliant cut pyrites and decorated with Bayberry wood. That's it. That's the whole thing right there. Like he was pressured into making an artifact and then just put out the most half-assed one he possibly could. You dwarves, I gotta tell you, love them. And yet another particularly lazy one here, Rititas Erlinanur, cut joined the high crevice, a pearwood cage. A pearwood cage decorated with pearwood and peachwood. And that's it. That's the whole thing right there. I mean, it's actually like these dwarves are getting lazy or something. Come on, guys. But then we have this one here, which is actually pretty cool. Berdan Luslem Muraquilem, Walked Puzzles, the Bold Youth, a hazelwood crown, encircled with bands of almond wood, rectangular chalk cabicons, octagon-cut aventurines, and wild boar leather. This object menaces with spikes of wild boar leather, Billon, and lapis lazuli. On the item is an image of 2 hoary marmot men in hazelwood. Kinda strange. And how about this, YouTube? On the item is an image of No-Kang Granite Scourges the Dwarf and Nemo Pelt Oranges the Pair of Dales, the Forest Titan, in Microcline. the forest titan is killing the dwarf. That image relates to the killing of that dwarf in the midsummer of '84 during Nemo Pellorange's 8th rampage. In this forest here, the turquoise jungle. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, I like that one. Kind of funny how we had one artifact crowned in Delarschlid, and we've only had one here in Zalududil so far. I feel like this is probably significant. Have to make sure it doesn't get stolen by Kias. But YouTube, for all the lameness of those first 2 artifacts, this one more than makes up for it. I mesh Robeck. Sprinkled barbs. A echidna bone spear. You buckle yourselves in, YouTube, because this one's epic. It is encrusted with marquee cut green zircons, decorated with echidna leather, and encircled with bands of Billon and point cut green zircons. This object menaces with spikes of echidna bone and chalk. On the spear is an image of Rovad the Gladiator, the dank swallow of walks, which is his title. We don't often refer to that though. Rovad is striking down a wild boar sow with a steel spear in the year 1043. This was during that wild boar hunt we had a few episodes ago. I think it's so cool though to have an image of Rovad the Gladiator out on a wild boar hunt on this spear. Oh, and to finish it off, there's an image of cushion cut gems in green zircon. Now because it has an image of Rovad on there, and it is a spear, our chosen weapon here in Zalududil, I decided to give it to the guy, and he is currently wielding it, which is pretty badass if I say so myself. Oh, and before I get any comments about it, I know bone isn't an optimal spear material, okay? But he's an excellent fighter, and the thing was basically made for him. I mean, as if the guy needs any more kills even. 19 notable kills and 110 other kills. You gotta hand it to this guy. What a pro, huh? And still, his only friends in the fortress are the Fields Birds. I'll tell you, that guy's gotta be one of my favorite all-time dwarves. I shouldn't have said that. He's gonna be dead by the end of the episode, I can guarantee it. Oh boy, okay, moving on. Oh, here's something, YouTube. Our living quarters here barely had enough space for like half of my dwarves. I noticed a lot of dwarves are sleeping in this dormitory here, and yeah, so I figured I'd do something about that. So over on the side here, we have a bunch new rooms made, and while it's still not quite as many as we need, it's better than nothing, right? And actually up above this area here, I made a nice little, a suite, I guess, for the outpost liaison. And they seem to be reasonably satisfied with it, although we'll have to improve it in the future, I guess. We'll see what happens. Still not too sure what the hell an outpost liaison does anyways. Yeah, for how many rooms we have here, we're gonna need so many more, I think, YouTube, because I actually just turned the dwarf cap up to 400. It was previously at 200, so I'm hoping now dwarves continue to have babies and this fortress just explodes. I mean, I can't imagine this fortress is going to go much longer, honestly. And before it finishes, I want there to be so many dwarves here. I figured I could make some more bedrooms up here next to the outpost liaison's quarters, or even above it as well, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Something neat here, YouTube. You see all these farms dwarves here? A couple iron tamers, and even a peasant. These are all dwarves who are children born in the fortress, and who have now grown to be adults. That's pretty exciting, huh? This fortress has been going for 12 years now. That's how long it takes for a child to grow into an adult. And so from this point forward, there should be a steady stream of dwarves growing into adults. More working dwarves is always a good thing, right? Absolutely. You know, I was saying it a bunch at the beginning of last episode, and I'm gonna say it again now. I am really concerned we're not gonna see those goblins again. So I'm gonna stop my jabbering here and continue on a bit. Oh, and you know, YouTube, before I get back to work here in the fortress, I got one more thing. Our queen here. I was looking around in her mind a little bit, and very strange, it says here she's a member of the Foggy Books, right? And she's also a member of the Steel of Trade. And in fact, she's a former captain of the Steel of Trade. Now, the Steel of Trades is that group of dwarves and trolls and beak dogs and a single vulture woman that Bim Silversnarl ran into in that abandoned goblin fortress. Sinful Princes. Now, I wasn't too sure what to make of that group back then, and I'm still not too sure what to make of it. A ragtag group of dwarves and trolls living in an abandoned goblin citadel. I mean, that's strange. And apparently she was its captain for some time. Now when I saw that, I got a bit curious about the Blade Queen here, so I opened up Legends mode and took a look around for a bit, and it looks like the last queen before Kivish here lived 800 years ago. That was in the time of humans and elves in this world. It looks like all 3 civilizations were destroyed almost at the same exact time by Gemworm the Dragon. Well, that and apparently the humans and elves hated each other and were also at war. And so all 3 civilizations kind of crumbled at the same time 800 years ago. And Kivish here only claimed her monarchy right before I made Fortress Evil Kings, in the year 1004. Pretty odd, huh? I really kind of feel like we're starting a new age here, which is pretty cool, huh? I personally think it'd be pretty cool if she found herself a spouse and produced a couple of heirs, but she doesn't currently seem to be interested in anyone in the fortress. Oh well. Well, YouTube, I suppose I'm going to continue work here in the fortress, getting those new residences up, digging out some new gems, filling up some mandates, and I was also thinking about making a temple or something, but we'll see how things go. And I guess we'll just keep on waiting to see those goblins again. I'll get back to you if anything interesting happens. Fath Ultarlushan, the farm's dwarf, has created Ugash Igal, a bulky sheep leather right mitten. Let's take a look. The Hollow of Traps. Incredibly expensive. It is encrusted with rose-cut brown zircons, and encircled with bands of sheep leather, briolette-cut brown zircons, and coati bone. This object menaces with spikes of iron and ruby. Wow, that's pretty cool. On the item is an image of Dissim Cryptberry, the Murky Bones, the horror of evil in Hazelwood. This creature is traveling. The image relates to this creature wandering through the turquoise jungles in the early autumn of 555. And to finish it off is an image of a tick man in alpaca wool. Of course, wouldn't have a Sunday without a cherry, right? Well, good job, now throw it in the pile and get back to work. Kubuk Zaglargakis, the woods dwarf, has created Lycidast, a hazelwood casket. Could be interesting, let's take a look. Mark fur. Another very expensive artifact here. It is decorated with alpaca wool and sheep bone and encircled with bands of hazelwood, steel, and single-cut rubies, which is badass. This object menaces with spikes of sheep leather, bituminous coal, and steel. Interesting. Pretty interesting. We'll have to find something cool to do with it, although I'm not sure what.
Now throw it in the pile and get back to work.
Ha! Fantastic. It's almost as if the goblins wait for me to lose any hope of them ever coming again, and then they attack. And in true goblin fashion, here they are again. A vile force of darkness has arrived. It's been 3.5, going on 4 years now. Currently the first of Hematite, 1049. Alright dwarves, we all know what to do at this point. Everyone to the burrow, let's go. Alright, and all the dwarves should be making their way there as we speak. Very good. Now YouTube, if you take a look at the fortress here, quite a bit of time has passed, and the dwarves have set about replacing all of the logs of Zalududil with Billon bars. And it's looking rather dapper, if I may say so myself. Also makes it rather unique. Alright dwarves, continue. Get into the damn fortress, huh? Oh, pretty exciting too, YouTube. This is the first siege we're gonna have where the queen herself is going to be able to lead the army into battle. Oh, and you know what? Second of Hematite, early summer. You know what that means, YouTube. It's time for the summer hunt of 1049. Now, bear in mind, if you will, I still haven't arranged any sort of seating or viewing areas for the long hallway there, because I didn't really intend on doing this again. Maybe I should start seriously thinking about that idea. Alright, I believe all the dwarves are in now. I'm going to start locking up the front gates. Oh, you know, I forgot all about that corpse pile trap. Did I miss it? No, I did not. No, I did not. Yahoo! Alright, here they come, moving in. So excited. Buckle yourselves in. This is going to be tubular. Oh, triggered. Chakunk. Oh my god. So much nasty shit there, YouTube. Just beautiful, really. Let's take a look. We got a broken leg here. Torn ligaments. Ooh, a crushed neck. That's a pretty good one. Man, that is a fun little trap. Big fan, YouTube. Anyways, back to defensive preparations. I'm gonna let these goblins get a little bit closer to the fortress, and then I'm gonna send our warriors out for another one of Zalududil's famed pincher techniques. I'll get back to you in a moment. Oh snap. Zulban Agatan, the Dwarven Child, has created Minkilrilbet, a bituminous coal scepter, our second bituminous coal scepter, by the way. A little disturbing too, because this child is currently outside the walls in our little craft dwarf pavilion here, but we'll get back to that in a second. First, let's take a look at this scepter. Leopard markets. It is encrusted with round bituminous coal cabicons and marquee cut milk quartzes and studded with Billon. This object menaces with spikes of sheep bone, rope reed, pigtail, and Billon. On the item is an image of Eshtan Anvil Talk to the dwarf and dwarves. In milk quartz, Eshtan is surrounded by the dwarves. It relates to this Eshtan character ascending to queenhood in the year 49. Pretty interesting, really. Now, throw it in the pile, get back to work. This child is outside the walls. A bit dangerous. Now, let's see here. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna open up this door right here, and hopefully there'll be a good little dwarf and just walk straight in there. Go ahead. Go walk in there. Be a good little dwarf. Looks like they're heading up there. And they're in. Lock it up. Crisis averted. Fantastic. Anywho, back up in the long hall, the first of the goblins is stuck in a cage trap. Yeah, they got a ways to go before we send the warriors out. So you guys just relax for a little bit longer, okay? Alright YouTube, the goblins are now approaching the fortress. The warrior dwarves are all collected in the farm room and down in the tunnels underneath. Kivish, the queen, will be taking part in the tunnel group attack. She should be nice and well protected with them. Although I'm not sure she needs much protecting at this point, because she's now actually a Grand Master Axe Dwarf. Yeah, I'm not sure she's gonna have any trouble at all, honestly. Certainly hoping anyways, but I digress. Alright, let's do this. Farm group, kill goblins. Tunnel group, you do the same. Move out, dwarves, for Zalududil. Today we fight alongside our queen. Let's show her what we're made of. Also, as a side note, YouTube, I noticed that a few of these dwarves are elite wrestlers instead of spear masters. Not 100% sure why that would be. Like, this guy actually has a spear right now, but he's still an elite wrestler, not a spear master. Oh well, of course I guess it doesn't help that her right lower arm is gone. Well, you know, I'll bet those elite wrestlers actually do a pretty good job at pinning down goblins and allowing the other dwarves to kill them. I'm not sure, but I'll bet it's the case. Anyways, combat has begun. Goblins are dying already. Tunnel group is exiting the bloodthirsty butterflies. First of the tunnel dwarves has engaged the goblins. Farm group is just plowing through the long hall now. Kivish, the queen, is moving in. She appears to be leading the dwarves into the top level of the long hall. Be smart, your majesty. Alright, it says the siege is over. The goblins are attempting to retreat, smashing into the tunnel group here, along with the queen. Keep fighting, dwarves. Do not let them pass. The queen has entered a martial trance. I'm so excited to see her combat log. Just a few goblins left. That appears to be it. Right there, YouTube. That easy. Not even an issue. Man, oh man, I'll tell you. Alright, now let's take a look at the Blade Queen's combat log. Oh my god, what a pro. The very first thing she did was hack a goblin in her head with her axe and cloved it asunder. Beautiful. Oh neat, then she bit a crossbowman in the head and shook him around a whole bunch. Oh, then hacked its head off with her axe. So cool. Yeah, holy shit, all kinds of good stuff here. She cut the heads off of 3 different goblins. Fantastic. Man, oh man, she killed 7 goblins in the arena before, which means she killed 11 goblins during this siege, just by herself. Impressive, Kivish. Truly a worthy monarch. Man, I'll tell you, I love this game. You just can't beat that. Plus, again, YouTube, we lost not a single dwarf. I can't believe it. I've never done so well with the dwarven military, ever, in Dwarf Fortress. Unbelievable. These guys probably killed around 750 goblins without losing a single dwarf. That's amazing. Well, good job all. And I'll tell you what, I'm kind of sick of picking random dwarves as the winner of the summer hunt, so instead, this year, you're all winners. I'm going to go and improve your barracks when I get a free second, which might actually take a little bit, but that's what I'm gonna do. Cause this place is kind of dumpy, really. Kind of in need of an update, wouldn't you say? Kind of like the update we've been giving the rest of the fortress here. This whole front section of the fortress is now Billon bars, even up a couple levels. Put some nice Billon fortifications here in the meeting hall. And up above, I even have some gem windows installed. Pretty cool, right? And then actually, YouTube, over here, if you take a look, I've started building another structure. Just kind of a round little building here, all made of Billon bars, of course. And over on the side, you can see a screw pump, which will be pumping water from down underneath here, from this aquifer, and bringing it up, then up again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again. This structure is going to be 12 levels tall. Each level made entirely of Billon with a screw pump and some nice gem windows. Each level will also be dedicated to a different dwarven god. And then I figured I'm going to try to make this water come like kind of cascading down the outside of the building into a nice little moat outside here, which will form kind of an artificial river, which will then nicely flow over this way in between the arena and the fortress, and then kind of like down here, down this little slope, and out into this goblin corpse pile area, which I think could be really cool because then all these carcasses will get all wet and soggy, muddy, and just plain nasty. I mean, what could make this whole thing worse? A lot of mud. Imagine being a goblin having to walk through that shit. An artificial swamp made out of your comrades' blood and bones. Ah, the ingenuity of dwarves. A beautiful thing, really. Oh, speaking of which, we gotta get this corpse pile all stacked up again. Can never tell when those goblins shall return. Alright, YouTube, well that was one heck of a siege, huh? A pretty good one, I'd say. I'm gonna get back to work here in the fortress and gussy things up a tad, maybe clean up some of this mess in the long hall, and I'll get back to you in a bit. I realize the episode's coming to an end, so I'm gonna try to get that temple area done before then, or at least get time to pass a little bit. I'll get right back to you. Yet another artifact here. Stukos Raluxodel, the artisan, has created Romekhed Rathol Cybrek, a bulky pigtail chausa. I believe that's how it's pronounced anyways. Some sort of a leg armor. Anywho, let's take a look. Long feed, the noble salve. Blah blah blah, it is studded with Billon and decorated with pigtail. It is made from pigtail cloth. The thread is midnight blue with dimple dye. Incredibly boring. Throw that piece of garbo in the pile and get back to work, please. Still trying to do as much as I can before the end of the episode. I'll be right back. And here we are, we're back with another vile force of darkness, which is good, but we're gonna have to kind of speed through it because it's getting towards the end of the episode now. So let's get to it. We know the routine very well at this point. Bunch of goblins, fairly typical. Everyone to the burrow. And as a note, the corpse trap should be absolutely fantastic this time. We packed a ton of stuff on there. I'm actually fairly concerned this time that the corpse trap will cause my computer to crash. That's how much stuff we have packed on there. Alright, the goblins are going a little bit north of the trap this time. I'm hoping somebody steps on this plate. Come on, one of you guys. Just down here. It's almost like they're afraid of a gigantic towering pile of goblin corpses. YouTube, nobody's gonna step on this thing. I'm gonna be pretty upset, I'll tell you. Oh. Come on, almost there. Come on, there you go, little guy. Oh, there you go. One more step. Oh, yeah. Did he step on it? All right, YouTube, what the hell? He clearly stepped on it. Yeah, I tell you what, I'm pretty upset. I don't know why it didn't get triggered. I didn't do anything to it. Oh well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5 pages of invaders once more, YouTube. And once again, we're gonna let them get right up in the long hall before we send the dwarves out. Minor problem here, YouTube. This dwarf, Kivish, the timber wolf, is not going to the burrow, and I have no clue why. All the other dwarves are absolutely fine, just like usual, but this one is heading down the long hall by herself. Why the hell would that be? This has never been a problem in the past. Trying to be a glory hog or something? Well, she's gonna be a corpse shortly. Alright, she's moving in by herself. A couple of spear goblins here. Not too sure what she's doing. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna give her specifically orders to kill these goblins. I mean, if she wants to die, she's going out with glory, I'll tell you that much. Alright, the order is given. Let's see how well she does. Can't really tell what's going on right now. She seems to be in trouble, I guess I wouldn't doubt it. Completely surrounded. See a couple of wounded goblins though. Hang in there, Kivish. She has entered a martial trance. Oh, you know, I just realized, Kivish, you're ruining our streak, you moron. Hang in there, Kivish. Oh, looks like she fell unconscious. Yeah, she doesn't have much longer. Yep, Kivish the Timberwolf has been found dead. Quite unfortunate. Well, as a lesson to the rest of you, YouTube, you want to tell me why the hell another dwarf is heading down the long hall? Oh my god, YouTube. Why? Doesn't make any sense to me, I'll tell you that much. This has never been a problem. Ever. Actually, one of the Pinebeards, Odom, heading out into the long hall by themselves. Alright, well, I'm gonna do the same exact thing. Alright, the order is given. Good luck to you, buddy. Can't say I have much faith that you'll live, though. Also, I guess I'm gonna keep an eagle's eye on that door. Alright, he's already killed a goblin. Has entered a martial trance. We have another dwarf entering the hallway. Get the hell out of here, dude. Alright, got the door locked now, so no more dwarves can go out there. This guy seems to be fighting mightily against these goblins here. Several goblins are dead now. This guy is going crazy, huh? Oh, looks like he's taking hits now. And he died. Doesn't make any sense. Alright, well now I'm afraid to unlock this door because I don't want any dwarves to go out there. Well, I'll tell you what. I don't know how smart this is going to be. Probably not very smart at all. But I'm actually going to unlock this door here and send all the squads out to kill these goblins. We'll fight them in the field. Every single military dwarf we have, including the queen. Alright, now the order is given. Let's see what happens. Currently have a group of 4 spear dwarves heading down the long hall, about to round the corner and face the goblin horde. Combat has begun. 2 dwarves fighting. 3, 4. Things seem to be going fairly well so far. Oh man, these dwarves up top seem to be in trouble. There's still a ton of goblins up here. Rova the Gladiator is up here. Currently in a martial trance, completely engulfed by goblins. Hang in there, buddy, come on. Fighting them off with his bone spear. Man, it's gotta be beautiful, huh? Yeah, the dwarves really seem to be in some trouble this time. Not going nearly as smooth as usual. They are still at it. I hope they're not getting too tired. A definite possibility. The goblins show no sign of retreating yet. Speak of the devil, the siege is over. The mop-up begins. Well, I don't foresee any problems arising with these remaining goblins, so let's wrap it up. Quite an interesting episode, I'd say. 2 goblin sieges down, and Zalududil is coming right along, and quick too. And I'll tell you what, I'm not going to show off that temple quite yet. It still has a ways to go, and I'd rather not spoil it. Man, we gotta be getting close to the end of these goblins, huh? We killed tons of them every episode at this point. It's coming. I feel it, YouTube. We will see the age of the dwarves. I'll bet my beard on it. Really, I'm surprised they even bother attacking us at all. They clearly don't stand a chance. And at this point, I truly think we can take anything they can fling at us. Green-skinned bastards. Well, anyways, YouTube, I truly hope you enjoyed watching this episode, and I hope you'll join me next time here in Zalududil, Future Lanterns. And until then, YouTube,